Manor Lords gameplay is finally here. We can get our grubby little hands on it. I've been waiting on this one for a very long time. This medieval city builder with all sorts of other survival, combat, really interesting mechanics layered into it. Thank you for those of you who've subscribed recently. We've gained a lot of new friends. Let's begin. This is Manor Lords, an organic medieval city builder with a wonderful combat system as well that looks kind of Total War-esque. In this demo that I'm playing today, that I've got slight early access to for a press preview build, however, it is available to everybody from October 3rd to October 10th as part of the Steam Next Fest. We're going to be playing the Rise to Prosperity new game. You'll notice it's not one to do with conflict, but rather that we'll start with nothing and build a prosperous medieval city. This is the City Builder demo. However, there are a few neat things around the edges. For example, we get a nice look at here Sir Greg, the lone developer of this game, by the way, published by Hooded Horse, a publisher who published a lot of great strategy games like Terra Invicta most recently. Pretty excited about the work that they're doing, to be honest. And this one, I'm hoping won't disappoint. Now, I also understand actually that you can completely customize this by loading in custom textures and having a real whale of a time, which is absolutely hilarious. But to not waste all of your time, because the gameplay is probably what you want to see a little more of, I'm gonna just play around with this a little bit, put 1,000,000 crowns on this. Oh yeah, that is a fantastic coat of arms. Look at that, it's a party. Oh, that's awesome. I'm just gonna save that as it is though. I'm gonna go in as this guy, old Sir Jumbo, and take a look at Manor Lords. Alrighty, and here we are, zooming in on a fantastic looking world. Looks like we're tasked by establishing the bare basics. Granary, logging camp, hunting camp, and storehouse. This game is, in my opinion, kind of a mixture of city skylines in the medieval time. Take a look at, for example, adding roads here. Great tooltips, by the way. Have you ever seen a tutorial that you've ever wanted to listen to or watch as much as this little one? It's simple, it's to the point, and it's beautifully animated. I like it a lot. So there's some city building elements there. You'll also note, though, here that we have a construction menu. And inside of this, there are a whole load of different things that we can build. I'm going to start, though, I think, with the roads. This is the city skylines element. I would argue that the sort of farming and constructing, harvesting the resources up here, like food and fuel, timber. This is sort of resembling a little bit of an Age of Empires kind of resource gathering, classic sort of strategy game formula. And then, like I say, there's also a combat system that we won't get to play around with in this city building demo. However, let's place some roads. It's super easy to do, and it looks to be really fluid. The game boasts itself as being quite an organic city builder on Steam, and it feels like it, honestly. Like if I have a look here, we can even get a little bit more into the detail. If I hold control, I can adjust the curvature of the road. So if I place a point here, and then we place another one here, you'll start to see some curvature play out. And I can actually, affect it live while we're placing it down, which is pretty cool, and I think probably feeds into that sort of organic element. Enough ranting and raving about nice roads, though. We do actually have some issues to sort. We've got exposed storage, which I'm guessing are these bread baskets right here. Yep, just out in the middle of nowhere. We've got exposed food, storage, and 5 homeless families. And look at the level of detail! Can I stay with this drink? How you doing, Herman? There's no hovel. Tomorrow find a new home or town. Homeless. Okay. So we're not particularly happy about being homeless, and we're kind of just mulling around in this very RPG, almost Skyrim-esque looking city center. I love that. That's so good. Here in Lochendorf. We need to upgrade to a small village, which means we need those 5 plots. So, let's get building. First and foremost, we need somewhere to put our stuff. So I can navigate down here to the storage menu, and we're going to need probably all of these, I guess, but let's get the storehouse first. This will be where we'll store generic goods. So we probably want to keep it somewhere fairly central, at least in our early city life. I don't have to place it along a road. I can literally just snap it down wherever I like. Although I see I can often turn road connections on and off, which is pretty neat. To make the lives of these homeless peasants just that little bit easier, I'm going to place that down right there. And what should happen now, especially if I speed up down here, we have a ×4 and a ×16 game speed, is that these homeless people should start to do something. Gather yeah, look at this. Oh, it's medieval city building in real time. That is awesome. As this Viet moves this timber along here to start building this storehouse. That is awesome. Anyway, enough swooning around that. We're also going to need a granary. Granary will be our storage for food. Maybe we want to think ahead a little bit about farms or something like that. And also we were going to house our population. Not actually a lot of just flat open land. I guess we'll carve that out ourselves. I think these are lines of contour, probably contouring, reflecting how high the terrain is. At least that's what it looks like. You know what? Again, just to make it easy for you lads, I'm going to place this down right here in the center of town. I'm going to put it on ×4 speed while they're just building, because we also need to build 5 homes, or their approval will fall, and they also might freeze in winter. Thankfully, at the moment, it's just March, so we're still in your spring, summer, autumn, winter. Yeah, we got heaps of time. It'll be fine. Famous last words, it'll be fine. Assigning workers. Alright, so now that these are built, we should probably assign some workers. Although, because construction will still be a priority for me moving forward, I might just not do that right now, and instead get to work on village life. Another fantastic looking tutorial. Flexible plots. So buildings in this demo have flexible plots. Place the 4 points, and it kind of snaps in a, again, imperfectly perfect, organic way to build our plots. And eventually we'll be able to plop some houses on them. What I might do first is pause, put my city skylines hat on. Professional medieval city engineer builds medieval city is what the title of this should be called. And then we'll just place some really horrendous looking grids. I'm just kidding. It's a medieval city. We'll do 2 straight roads. And then we're going to get a whole load of curves up in here. Is it inefficient? You bet your backside it is. Does that matter? Oh, it's a 4-way intersection. No, it doesn't. Okay. And then we'll go construction, village life, and start to place down some of these plots in this newly plotted out area. You'll also notice on the right-hand side of your screen that there are overlays, and the one that it's showing at the moment is underground water. We're going to need to build a well on top of that so that these people can drink. And you know what? It's actually coincidentally going to be perfect, as it's just going to be tucked right out the back of these homes. I could also check other things like fertility for certain crops. We're of course going to need to get farming, and it looks like rye. I hope you like rye. Everything else was somewhat average. Alright, I'm going to try and make these plots as small as I can, because surely these people don't need that much land, right? Yeah, look at this. This is great. Okay, let's plot out some nice little sections for old Vendedeel and North to retire on. You'll see the pretty cool snapping taking place here. Although, this is going to be a freaking mansion. Let's do that. We're going to build one really nice place, and then we're going to cram in a whole load of people over here in a sort of a more economically viable way of doing it. We'll make these ones at the back slightly larger, though. Oh, this is awesome. We're about to run out of timber and block ourselves in. Okay, maybe I shouldn't go too ham with the buildings too early on. Before that, let's make sure that we're actually chopping down some trees. Let's go gathering and get a woodcutter's lodge. It looks like the overlay doesn't matter too much. I can see some other resources, though, that are highlighted pretty nicely here. Looks like a hunting and gathering zone. I reckon we'll just do some farming, not outside of the rich person's house, of course, because it's not how this works. Let's actually just plop this lumber camp, like, way out here somewhere. I I mean, it makes sense. If I hold left click, I can do a nice little pivot and we'll just slam it like there. But either way, we'll get this bison to work on building these homes out here. We'll hopefully start to get some people not entirely homeless. And then maybe just quickly, we'll add one worker to the storehouse so that they can start transporting all of this exposed stuff over here. And also, hopefully, the granary... Yes, look.
Can I stay with his drink?
Linhart, who's still desperate for a drink, is managing to keep themselves busy by carting some stuff around. As I establish the foothold. So we need granary, logging camp, hunting camp, and storehouse. The only other one that I need to place down, therefore, is the hunting camp. And we know that there's some wild animals over this way. So, what we could do... It looks like I actually shouldn't place it completely over top, or it'll cause migration of the animals. This game has some wonderful detail. From what we've seen from the early releases and the trailers, and now getting to play it in person, very impressed. Yeah. Little details like that make a big difference, I think, to the user experience. So, hunting camp, logging camp, granary, and storehouse. It's time to get building on 16 times speed, you fools! Look at this! As in the blink of an eye, every single homeless person in the village comes to try and make themselves not homeless. This place here probably should have been the one that I cancelled rather than the one that I left. But also, somebody is going to live like a king. Their house looks to be no bigger than the one that we started building here and then gave up on. Oh no, here it comes. Also, it doesn't look especially nice inside. But, you know, we're doing work. We're doing work! Love it. Alright, let's let them keep doing what they're doing. Zoom out a little bit here and crank that speed up. And as I work on improving village life over here by actually giving them access to, you know, water, I've noticed a trader is coming through, a traveling merchant. Now, I'm unlikely to be able to interact with them right now because I'm not sure if it's in the demo for starters, and secondly, we don't have a market area or stalls or anything yet, but these are one of the main ways that you, in the full game anyway, from what we've heard, will be able to trade and interact with the outside world. In fact, they're one of the only ways, actually, to bring someone else's macroeconomics into your beautiful little village. And if I zoom out here, even though, unfortunately, as you can see, Conquest is locked in this demo, so we won't be able to muck around too much with gaining influence, claims, war being declared, presence of enemy armies, but we can at least get a little bit of a feel for what this map looks like. It's, I think, interesting enough. Here's our starting territory. Looks to be broken up into, you know, around sort of 10 or so. We can see different resources on top of each one, and it looks like I would be able to claim them with either a favor, which I'm guessing is like a diplomatic move, or just with influence. And then we can see different trade yields, although at the moment it looks like they're all the same. Again, this function isn't really even meant to be available, or the combat isn't available anyway, so I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself on that view, but I thought it was interesting enough nonetheless. Even if it just kind of gives us a feel for what this might look like in future, I think it's interesting enough. Quest completed! Settlement _ intro! So we've completed those 4 main buildings that it was asking me to do down the bottom, and now it wants me to build my well, which I've already started, and those 5 plots, which we have 2 of, one of them perhaps quite large. Looks like we've got 365 turns or days to get it done, which would be a whole year, but really we'd probably want to have this done before winter, right? So let's accept that immediately. The well, as I mentioned before, is going online here, and then what I can do, really low on timber, but I'd like to start plotting some more out. I might get idle workers working this logging camp that I've just built. It's got an unlimited work area. We could also set its work area, and again, look how smooth this UI is. This is made by one dude? It's insane. Like, this is already in this demo better quality than many a similar game to this. Many. So yeah, I might even just assign one person just so that there's always someone on the logging camp. And then there's also a woodcutter's lodge. We don't need people on all of these. Timber is going to be our big holdup. Looks like we're fine for food. I'm not so sure about the rest though. Let's get cracking on these plots anyway. I can put in these tiny little... Oh, we could make them really narrow maybe as well. That's kind of fun. Do a really long one. Just make them all freaking odd. Which I think is probably some of the charm of this game, really. It's that, again, that sort of perfectly imperfect nature to it. So there's 1, 2... And we don't have enough resources for any more. Looks like we're going into fast mode. Hey, trees are starting to fall. Look at this. We're doing work. A new family's also arrived, so we're starting to fill up some of these homes. We have got our well built out the back here, looking very well. And we're finishing our 4th site now. These are some very odd looking sections, and I love it. We could also construct a vegetable garden. Oh, that's cute. Look at that. There's actually a reason to have a large yard. Oh, that's so cool. And the upgrade isn't available seemingly on the smaller place. Yeah. Provides eggs throughout the whole year, provide milk throughout the whole year. Vegetable garden. Doesn't yield in winter, but these people can farm their own veggies. So let's do that. Hunting camp if we have wild animals, or a forager if we have berry. Yeah. Food is actually going to be another big hold up, isn't it? It looks like our timber production is starting to get online, but I haven't built anything to produce food yet. So I think we get our last plot down so that we can finish this next phase of the humble beginnings, which now that I think about it is actually, it's probably a year for all of these mini quests. So I was probably a little bit wrong earlier. Do we want to build a veggie farm capable property? You know, I think we do. Let's squeeze a big ass one in here. Road access will be obstructed. Come on. Okay, so we've still got homeless families. We're getting on top of it, and we don't have enough food and fuel in storage. Although our fuel is pretty good with the firewood, so we should have logs and firewood, so that's fine. It's just the food now that's of quite a concern. Let's have a look. So we can build farms and then plot out some fields with the designated area. We can build farms and plot out pastures. We can build windmills to convert. And then communal ovens. Okay. Well, I think we'll probably want a farm, and then we'll probably also want to build one of these gathering huts. I notice there's some wild animals out this way. So maybe if we build or expand on this hunting camp, what is it doing? Chuck a person onto it, maybe that will help. Go on. And then we'll also prop that up a little bit by maybe building some farms closer to where all these people live. We've also got the granary and stuff here, so that's probably a good shout. I'm going to do that. Hey, settlement level increased! Fantastic. And we've now got a new development point. Now, I noticed these were to do with some upgrades before. As I walk around surveying my village, a woman walks past me. She's bent nearly double under a sack. It's unfortunate. If there was only a marketplace where people could acquire food. All right, so we need to upgrade 3 homes. We also need a food stall, a firewood stall, and a clothing stall. Basically, we need a marketplace. We can take our sweet time to build this, though, because it was many a turn in order to get it done. But if we have a look at our old fancy pants house here, we could destroy its upgrade. Here we have this building upgrade. Grants a development point and provides better fighting equipment if levied. Ah, interesting. That's of course something we won't really get to test in this demo, but neat nonetheless. Okay, so in managing the kingdom, I've made a little oversight. The upside is we have some homes producing their own food. Look at these guys, hoeing away like there's no tomorrow. The downside is we are running out of food. Rather desperately. If we have a look at our supplies, you'll see we've got 1 month worth of food and 19 worth of fuel. That suggests to me that We probably don't need all of these people working logging camps, woodcutters' lodges, anything like that, really. I think we're okay. That one's producing firewood. We've got plenty. We do still need some logs, so I think we keep a log lad over here on the logging camp, because I'm still super low on timber, and then we get people actually doing food. So we've got one person working the hunting camp, providing some generic and pantry items, meat and pelts, good. Looks like these people might be coming out for a little bit of a laugh too. Here's Herman the German, likely going to work. Come on, Herman. Yeah, look, there you go. He's carrying some of this stuff back. This lady was much smarter. She bought a wagon. There you go. The difference between the people. Okay. Either way, food. These people are farming. We've got that down there. And I also built this forager's hut. So let's add one full-time person to this. And maybe also enable our idle laborers to work this as well. It's really close to the rest of our town. I've got this guy set up out the back, ready to go and farm some stuff. Okay. I'd like to play this slightly smarter. I've got a lot of people walking down this way to service this place, and then they're lugging stuff back, but I think that's fine. I've got rid of this berry thing because there's just no berries, and instead, I'd like to actually build a farm. That way we can have a little bit of subsistence farming for ourselves rather than relying on how many berries or how many animals there are. Because I also notice you can hunt this thing to over-extinction. You can set the limit of how many animals you'd like to be left in the area. Just again, like a very cool little detail. And also not too much of an overly complicated one. Like, so far it's all been really intuitive, pretty easy to understand. With the exception of maybe the berries, I've made very few errors. Alright, let's improve village life. We need to get these stalls down. Must be placed within a marketplace. This actually could be an alright area for the marketplace. It's sort of in between people's homes, and we were likely to be farming a few different resources. Oh look, here's another one too. Huh, iron. So let's plot it out along this main road. Boom. It's going to fill in organically up against that road as well, which is fantastic. If I throw ourselves onto a dangerously fast speed, easy to fall behind on resources and food, and you will absolutely death spiral in this as well. Our food is dangerously low, concerningly low, actually. So I'll need to keep an eye on that. The reason why I can't build our own farms yet is because I don't have the tools required. We are starting to build up enough wood though, so that's all good. And I've just realized that this wasn't actually being built, and I'm a moron. Let's... Okay, let's place down these. I'm assuming they're going to have to be connected to the road. So we'll get a firewood one, foodie one, and a clothing one as well. Eh? You can come do your high fashion medieval shopping. Here, now, one day only. Neat. Okay, so to upgrade this house, looks like at the moment, it requires a firewood or charcoal supply from the marketplace, so we're getting that online. A well placed on an underground water resource is required, and then it looks like we're just short maybe of an extra type of food available on the marketplace. It would also like 2 types of clothing, entertainment, faith. It's interesting, actually, to see all of these sliders. So required for the next upgrade is in red, and will cause a loss of approval if it's not fulfilled. Okay, so give me some food. Taking a closer inspection, we're only meeting 3 out of 8 of these requirements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to need the church, the tavern, 2 versions of clothing, cloth and leather, and then 1 other version of food available on the marketplace. Okay, it's actually quite a lot. I can see why there are so many turns placed before this. It's going to be tools, I think, that are going to be my most difficult thing to get access to here. I'm really short on tools. So maybe we need to get one of these smithies online. Uses iron slabs and fuel to craft tools. To do that, we're going to need iron slabs, which we are also unlikely to have. Leather, the workshops, bloomery, iron ore into iron slabs. To get that, we're going to need to mine it first. So we're going to need a mining pit. Okay. here, that's a stone deposit. This one out here, by the looks, is an iron deposit. So let's get a mining pit down. I guess I don't need to build it right on top. Maybe it's okay to just be kind of next door like that. I'm not really sure. And then I guess we probably need to connect it to a road. Although, yeah, there we go. It's got a nice snap point. So let's just snap it down here. I will, in proper fashion though, make this a curvy road. Oh, and it just comes straight down to the marketplace as well. You gotta love it. Okay, so step 1, mining pit. All of this just to get some tools, huh? Build more granaries or employ more granary workers. Our granary storage is getting full. That can't be a bad thing. Yeah, look at us go! We've got so much food now! Fantastic. I think we can reduce the number of workers here then. We'll get this mining pit constructed. And then in order to upgrade these plots, we're gonna need to convert the iron into ore through the bloomery. So I guess we'll just put this entire industry up here, nice and close, right? So they're gonna take this and then immediately convert it right outside the front gate, effectively, into iron ore. From iron ore to iron slabs, and then we'll convert the iron slabs and fuel to craft tools. And you guessed it, we'll do that right next door as well. And so then, maybe as one last thing, we could start to get a second residential village online out this way. It could service the mining industry, maybe also the stone industry. Actually, while we're here, maybe we should just do the stone. I also need to think about some of the other things that they want, right? They want different types of food. They want cloth. I feel like building a farm would be a great idea, but we need the tools to get that down. So maybe I try and find one of these that doesn't require tools, like this sheep farm doesn't, and that will allow us to harvest wool from sheep. I mean, I feel like wool isn't necessarily the top priority at the minute, but we kind of just need any resource we can get, I think. Let's get someone working on this mining pit. And aside from our granaries and storehouses being full, we're okay. Oh, the plot thickens. Okay, so what I've done is added a whole load of food types, and that's upped the requirements, or reduced the requirements, right? So now we don't need to worry so much about some of these other things, because we can just slam them with a whole load of variety of food, and maybe clothing as well. We could do that by farming sheep, or we could build the entertainment and faith districts, humankind speak, and have this done. So that costs 5 wood, and that costs 8. Okay, so I can't really afford either of those at the minute. Let's up our logging camp capacity again. We can actually only have 1 free family, so get to work. And we should be okay. Also want to make sure that my storage limits aren't just completely overburdened. Maybe we future-proof ourselves slightly and get an extra storehouse. So I've had the slight fearful thought that maybe I should really be forward planning a little bit of extra capacity in case additional families are created or turn up here. I have a little bit of spare timber, just a fraction. So I'm going to build 1 extra plot, get a couple of more basic ones down, and then we can think about upgrading some of the others. Hopefully, future-proofing us. Speaking of which, we've got this bad boy online now. Take a look. Here's Earhart. Just wailing away. Digging away in this pit like there's no tomorrow. I love it. And next door there's the infrastructure here ready to convert that into the sweetest iron you've ever seen. Downside is, we are nearing the end of autumn, which means we're nearing our first winter. So berry deposits will vanish, firewood is required for survival, sheep shearing is forbidden, and there's a chance of getting ill. Okay. And then we should, next spring, get ready to plant those berry deposits, because I need to plant them at the right time of year. It's also recommended now that we get plowing and sowing crops for the biggest yield next summer. Unfortunately, we're not quite prepared for that. So I'm relying a little bit more heavily on the hunting camp here. I've put someone back on this. We're going to try and farm up enough before winter because we have 5 months worth of food, which is hopefully enough to get us through, and plenty of fuel. Fuel has never, ever, ever been an issue for us, it seems. And that was my first look at Manor Lords. I'm going to end here just before the first winter. I'm confident that I can survive it, somewhat. But there's a few more things to be worked out and a few issues to be ironed. If you enjoyed, let me know. As always, I'd love to cover more of this. It is a relatively small demo, but I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface even. And we can likely play through at least another couple of stages of village life development. We don't even have a church yet. So if you enjoy, let me know. I'm always responsive to the feedback, and I'll see you next time. And I'd encourage you to check it out yourself.